Hello everyone. This is Amanda. It's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live. The last time I actually did it, I ended up sideways. I guess it's one of those idiosyncrasies of Facebook, but it's way overdue for me to say hello. So I wanted to say hello and just talk a few minutes about the Genomic Kitchen book, which I know you've seen because my wonderful assistant Bronte has been letting you know about the Genomic Kitchen book. Here it is. And I know it kind of comes across sideways on Facebook, so hopefully, or upside down, or like the back of a mirror or whatever. But anyway, so that's the book. It came out a couple of weeks ago. And what I wanted to talk about just very quickly today was why I wrote the book and what's in it. So the reason I wrote the book is because I wanted to introduce the world to this new food gene conversation, the new conversation that we know about food as it relates to our genes. So what is that new conversation and why is it useful to know anyway? So the Human Genome Project was completed in 2003. And what that project did, it was an international research project. And what that allowed us to understand is how information from our food actually communicates with our genes. And why is that important anyway? Because our genes really are essential to directing the traffic, sort of the biochemical traffic or the informational traffic in your body that is so important to how your body functions. So for example, genes provide important information to our cardiovascular system. They're very integral to the health of our gut. And the principal information that our genes use is food itself. So understanding which food, how to prepare it, and how it works gives us this whole new platform, if you will, to understand what to do when you go in the grocery store, which foods may be optimal versus others. When you get that food home, how do you prepare it to get what I call the best return on ingestion? So that's R.O.I. We know that in terms of money. How do you get the best product that money can buy? Now it's time to think about how do you get the best information from food for the money that you spend on it. And this is called the food gene conversation, which is why I wrote the book. It's an extension of healthy or healthier for you. Instead of buying food that's healthy or the latest supplement or the latest quote superfood, really having a deep understanding of what that food does in your body and how it works is the new food conversation. And again, I call it Return on Ingestion. And the book I've written really is, you could call it, How Do You Get the Best Return on Ingestion for Your Food? So what's in the book? I'm going to keep this super short. So many of you know I grew up in Europe, and a lot of what's informed me about food comes from growing up and living and working in Europe, where food really is a central part of the day. It's a means to bring people together. It's a means to breaking the fast between the evening and the morning. It's a means to support local producers, to buy from growers you know and love. And as my mother would always say, no sooner do you sit down in France and eat lunch and we're talking about what's for dinner. So it really does connect people. So the reason I mention that is throughout the book, I intertwine this journey through Europe. I'm starting with meeting a couple of chefs who were basically preparing food as medicine in a tiny restaurant in northern Italy in the Dolomite region. So I introduce you to Oliver and Alessandra. I show you their menu and I explain to you why what they're doing was so revelatory for me in terms of this food gene connection, which I was seeing in a restaurant. I take you to the Peloponnese region of Greece and different parts of Greece and explain how the food that people are eating on their regular everyday plates and that they're buying in the markets and maybe foraging in the mountains explains their extraordinary longevity and their health and that great sense of community. So it's part geographical journey, but it's also part science, understanding how food works in your body with your genes, sort of really explaining healthier for you in a 21st century way. and then connecting that science to the kitchen. So it's a geographical journey, it's an unfolding of science, and then an unpacking of the ingredient toolbox, which we call MISE or MISE or MES, similar to mise en place in the kitchen. So a chef will set up his or her station in the kitchen with all the ingredients and equipment that he or she needs to produce their part of a dish which you will eat in the front of house. So the genomic kitchen, we use a similar idea, MISE, which stands for master ingredients, influencer ingredients, super foods, and enabler ingredients. I talked to you about what these ingredients are in 4 separate chapters. And after each of these separate chapters, I walk the ingredients, as I've just talked about, into the kitchen and explain to you the tips and tricks to how to extract not only the best information from those ingredients, but how to prepare them in ways that preserve the nutrient information that we call bioavailability, and do that in a simple, flavorful way. So that is 90% of the book. And in the last chapter of the book, it's a translation chapter. I take all the tips and tricks and I give you very specific ways to organize your pantry, organize your recipes. I share with you a framework to think about how to select ingredients and how to think about recipes. All of that to help you get the best food information you can on your plate. So that's the book. It's the Genomic Kitchen. It's now available on Amazon in both hard copy. So those of us, you who still like to read a book, you can buy it that way, or it's now in a digital form so that you can download that. The cool thing about either form of the books is that you will have information on how to access some of the illustrations in the book. So if you want to download the ingredient toolbox or different parts of it or certain charts and information you feel really useful, you can actually access that by reading the book. In the digital version, you can literally click on some of the charts and it'll take you to a library where you can download the information or the charts you want, and there's additional bonuses in there, like some additional recipes. Or in the print book, if you look in the notes at the beginning of the book, it tells you what the URL is so you can go and access this information. So for those of you readers, grab the book. It's right there on Amazon. If you don't want to read a book, but you want to hear the information, then go to genomickitchen.com, look under courses, and then select individuals, and you can actually enroll in the Genomic Kitchen Express course. It's 4 hours, forever access, self-paced, online, and I talk you through the ingredient toolbox. I talk you through the essentials or the fundamentals, the elements that I highlight in the book, so you can kind of fast track yourself all the way to from the grocery store to your kitchen and get the best return on ingestion that you can from the food you eat. So if you have any questions, you know where to find me, Amanda, at genomickitchen.com, or you can shoot a note to my fantastic dietitian assistant, Bronte, Bronte, at genomickitchen.com, or just pop your questions on, on Facebook in this particular group. And if you find the book fascinating or the course, send us a nice review on Amazon. So I hope that's useful. I will see you back in this forum, and we'll be doing more and more live. So thanks for listening, and as always, keep in touch.